And a good afternoon to everybody. Hopefully, everybody's doing good. Like to say hello to a few folks here in the chat. Let's see who come in tonight. So, John, it's so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Thanks so much for coming in there, Jonathan. Appreciate it. It's good to see you. Nisi, thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you as always. Rachel, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. And Miss Betty, thanks so much for coming in. So good to see you. Sure appreciate it. Glad to see everybody tonight. Is seems like it's been weeks since I got to see y'all, but had a lot going on. And look there, it's old Cody. Hey, Cody, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in, brother. Appreciate it. Last week, my dad called me last minute. Was like, let's go out to eat. So me and Hope and Autumn and him all went to a pizza place around here, and we didn't make it back till nearly 8 o'clock. And it just didn't dawn on me about the live till the next day. I was like, oh man. But we're here now. Good to see everybody as always. Got some pretty neato stories coming up, and let's see, what do we got? Okay, I did get another thing for the wall. Something simple, but this little block right here it holds more history than a lot of people know of. This is, I'll flip it over. You can see. Let me see here. Welcome in, Ace. Thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you. Appreciate it. Homemade lye soap. And this was bought, I don't know, probably an hour or so away from the house here. We got to go and visit the town where my great grandfather was born and raised, and they had a little log cabin store that sold a lot of this kind of stuff. I just had to buy this. Hello, Carolyn. So good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. But back in the Appalachia days, you couldn't go to the grocery store and buy soap. You had to make it, and all it was lard, water, and lye, and some sort of like a smell. And this one uses lavender, but this was made right here from where I'm at. So, but I wanted to buy that for the wall. And welcome in there, Vicky. I sure appreciate it. It's good to see you, and thank you so much for sharing me out. Appreciate it. And Jana, so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Really, 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 really appreciate it. And says it'll take the stains out of anything and make your skin feel like leather. Now that's funny. And pretty cool. My grandmother, yeah. Dad always told me that grandma and them, they'd make it once a year, stand around an old wash pot. They usually would make that around the time hog killing would come. They'd scrape the hog, and they'd cut the cracklings up, make them, and of course they'd package up the meat and put it in the smokehouse, and then they'd render it down in the lard and make soap. And stand around them old wash pots just stirring it and stirring it and stirring it. So I couldn't believe I found some of that, and it belongs right here on the wall, because that's all they had back in the day. Just whatever they had to make. So, but yeah, Cody, you're right. It literally says it right on there. It's good for poison ivy. But yeah, it's good for that. And yeah. Yeah. Oh wow, long skirt caught on fire. Wow, that's crazy. But I guess I wanted to I'm going to kind of give y'all an idea of what we got coming up for videos this week. The next 3 weeks, I already got these videos made. So this next Saturday, y'all will actually get to visit the family cemetery. You know, I made that little short or whatever. It had that picture of my great grandmother, and it played that music with it. Well, you guys are actually going to go with me and my dad and explore it. And at the time of making that little short, I did not know that there's 3 generations buried there. So my great grandmother, her mother, and then her grandmother, all 3 are there side by side. My great grandmother's husband, he's just buried over the road from me. But next to her is her mom and dad. And then next to my great great grandmother is her mother and father. So you guys will get to see that and get to see the reaction that my dad has. And it's a pretty precious moment. So you guys will get to enjoy that. And then I got another video coming up the week after that about a restaurant that right here pretty close to where I am. It's, you know, a little drive, about an hour drive or so away. But it's the history of it, and it's so neat. It's a really cool story. And then after that, while we were there visiting in the town where I actually bought that soap, y'all will actually get to see the video of that. I made a little short of like the rolling fields and all that. Well, we made a video there too, so y'all will get to see that. So got plenty of stuff to look forward to coming up. And of course tonight we got some really neat stories. I found a pretty neat little book here that has some here I am. But a book that has some first-hand accounts of some very creepy things that people's experienced. So I'm going to be reading a couple of those for y'all tonight, and then I have another story that I'm going to read as well. So we got plenty of stories coming up. Just a pretty cool little night of some stories and stuff. And I'll know more a little bit later, but I had a really awesome subscriber reach out and said that they were interested in, let me move this fan back. There we go. Said that they were interested in possibly donating a P.O. box for Myers Paranormal, which is my wife's channel, and Myers Tales of Appalachia to use. So if you guys want to send in like handwritten stories, you'll be able to do that. Or cards, whatever. So we'll have that coming up. Whenever I know more about it, I will fill you guys in on that, of course, so that some people would much rather write than to do email, which I understand. It's a lot easier for some people that way. So that'll be another option. So when we get that set up, I'll let y'all know. So I guess, let's see. It's been a couple of weeks. So I don't know if y'all ever got to see the alligator horse's grandchild. Oh my God, that kid's so beautiful. looking so healthy now. And then, of course, Jared, I messaged Jared yesterday, and I was like, man, how are y'all doing? Everything all right? And of course, they are. They just, up there in McMinnville, the internet's already slow, and then that storm hitting their Wi-Fi box. So they've literally been without internet for like a week now. So yeah, they'll be back up and running just as soon as they can. So just be a little patient. Ooh. Well, we would absolutely love to hear that story. And if you'd rather send it to the P.O. box when we get it, I'll let you do that. Or right here, same way, Myers Tells Appalachia, that comes directly to me, and we'll read it. So either way, however it works out, is how we'll do it. So, oh, that baby's precious. I couldn't believe it. I believe the alligator horse actually posted that on his channel, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's where I saw that. So it'll be over there on. Let me see if I can find it right quick, and I'll post his channel in there where y'all can look it up. Let's see. Let's see if I can find the channel. Mm-hmm. All right, let me see if I can find a different way. Give me just a minute, guys. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. There it is. I'll just maybe you won't get me for that. That's actually his post. And if you want to, let's see. I will drop it in the chat here so y'all can go to his channel. You'll see that in his post. There we go. All right, now we go. It's in the chat. So if you want to see his channel, view his stuff, and there you go. Now then, sorry that took so long. Got it fixed. Now get me off of this screen, and let's see. Now what did I miss here? Got one a couple weeks back. Oh wow, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Now, our first story, this takes place in the dense forest of Utah. Dang. Well, hi, Dustin. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it, and it's always good to see you. Welcome. Like I said, this takes place in the dense forest of Utah. A night with a full moon overhead. and the air is full of potential, rifled with wonder, and then eroded by malice. This one's entitled The Visitors. We all dream of a plot of land to call our own, somewhere to put a cozy cabin or camp with loved ones. Unbeknownst to us, the land we claim is not rightfully ours, and its true owners may not be pleased with us. The incident happened to me long after I came across a listing for 40 acres of recreational land in a heavily forested area of Utah. The land was a steal, priced at only $1,000 an acre, but there were no utilities. It shared a border with approximately 2 million acres of Bureau of Land Management land, miles of forest that would never be torn down or harvested. It was just perfect. A friend and I made a deal. We went in 50-50 on the land. We split the property and agreed we had no issues sharing our halves with each other since we were friends and wanted our families to always have fun experiences camping out there. Let's see. I parked the camper on the land and we split the cost of building a rustic cabin, basically a 400 square foot cabin with a wood burning stove, a porch, and some bunk beds. As we settled into the cabin for the night, we eagerly chatted about our plans to invite our families on our inaugural camping adventure. We must have fallen asleep at this point. I woke up to the sound of someone rummaging through the back of my truck. We were a mile or two from the nearest land owned by anyone, so I was shocked that someone was in our camp. I quickly woke up my friend. The rampaging persisted, accompanied by the high pitched squeak of the truck suspension and echoing footsteps drawing nearer the cabin. I could hear the deep and guttural breathing. It sounded powerful. We built the cabin a foot off the ground, and we cut a window approximately 7 feet high at the top of the window. It was a full moon, and our camp was well lit. The footsteps got closer, and slowly, until I could see the large figure of a man standing in the window frame. His shoulders rose and dropped with each breath. You would have to be a minimum of 6 feet to be visible in that window. This was a big man. To dispel our fear, my friend yelled, "Identify yourself! We're armed!" The figure then turned and walked away, never to visit again. When we woke up the next morning, we discovered that it had rifled through my truck, tossing everything aside, leaving the valuables behind. When examining the windows of my truck, the sight of immense handprints astonished us, as they dwarfed even my larger friend's hands. We started to think perhaps what we encountered was no human. Utah is no stranger to the persistence of Bigfoot. One family even caught on video what people believe to be the infamous cryptid. The video has gained significant attention in the Bigfoot community, with experts analyzing the footage frame by frame. It shows Bigfoots that exhibit the characteristic traits: tall, hairy, and walking on two legs. Witnesses who have encountered Bigfoot in Utah describe them to say as shy and elusive creatures, often leaving large footprints and distinctive odors. The strange vocalizations in the mountains support the belief in Bigfoot in remote Utah. Despite the skepticism surrounding Bigfoot sightings, the prevalence of encounters in Utah, along with compelling video evidence, continues to captivate and intrigue both believers and skeptics alike. Let's see. Welcome in there, Daryl. Appreciate it. Let's see. Jana, me, David are both Daddy, Papa, Mama, need to all right. All right. Appreciate everybody for coming in. Boy, isn't that creepy? I wouldn't know what to expect. I wish I could find land that was $1,000 an acre, because that's certainly a steal. But imagine being in your little cabin asleep and hear somebody tearing through your vehicle, and then when they walk up to the window, they just turn and walk away without even making a sound. And when you go out there, their footprints and handprints are so big. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't know what to do if I encountered something like that. That's just strange. But all right, this next story is entitled "The Old Gas Station." The location is in the wild wilderness of Colorado. An evening in late spring with a pensive isolation and presence of a stranger. The building looks like it hasn't seen human life in decades. The only small scattering of insects and rodents have kept the place company. So why is it you could swear you heard someone stepping behind you? I'm what many people have called a drifter. You're free. You're free to use whatever term you like. I have been wandering the country since I graduated high school, jumping from place to place, finding work wherever I can. It's not what a person would call stable living, but I do what I can to get by. Living on a budget as a drifter isn't always comfortable, especially since hotels are so expensive these days. Most nights, I must find somewhere to camp. I enjoy the experience, especially on late spring nights when it's cool out and you can gaze off into the stars as you fall asleep. I was on such a night. It was on such a night that this series of occurrences happened. I was in a small town in Colorado, and it was about 7:30 at night when I noticed the sun going down. As per routine, I walked into the woods and looked for a place to camp. I was extra careful in choosing a camping spot this evening and ended up walking a long way into the Colorado wilderness. It was a pleasant walk with lots of nature to see until I found something strange, a gas station. After walking for so long, surrounded by unfamiliar trees and plants, it surprised me to stumble upon an old, rusty gas station in the middle of nowhere. The place was in shambles and looked like it would fall over at the mere sign of wind. The gas station design suggested that it was constructed in the 1960s. The place was rickety, so it was too much to risk that the building would collapse on me if I slept inside. However, Mother Nature wasn't having it. Soon the pitter patter of raindrops filled the air. Left with the circumstances, with the night rapidly approaching, I took shelter inside the gas station. As I passed through the front door, the sound of rain smacking the metal roof echoed in my ear. I immediately saw a large countertop with shelves behind it. To my left, there was a door that went into a garage portion of the station. The whole place was empty, filled with only the strange smell and cracked black and white tile floors. It wasn't the coziest of places, but it beat sleeping in the rain. Apart from being a dump, the garage door had a bent part that left the small opening, inviting unwelcome guests like snakes to sneak in. And the last thing I wanted to be bitten in my sleep, so I decided to sleep on the right of the counter in front of the main door, using my sleeping bag as a mattress. As soon as I lay down, an unsettling feeling washed over me, urging me to leave immediately, as if there is an imminent threat or danger lurking nearby. I ignored this feeling and allowed the exhaustion of walking all day to lull me to sleep. What a mistake this would be. Welcome in, Karen. Thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you. I woke up to the sound of growling outside the building. It took me a while, but as soon as I realized what I was hearing, I became fully alert. Due to previously encounters with wolves and bears, I developed a habit for carrying a knife for self-defense. With the knife in hand, I strained my ears to decipher the source of the menacing growls. It didn't sound like a bear, it sounded way bigger. The growls were some of the deepest I'd ever heard. I said to myself, what could it be? Before I could think of anything growling, the growling stopped, and a deep, distorted voice repeated to me, what could it be? As if it was trying to intimidate me. Quickly, I rushed to roll up my sleeping bag and place it inside my backpack. While I continued packing up my other things, the sharp sound of the metal garage door being forcefully bent, lifted me, made me cringe. I put my backpack on, ran out the front door, through the rain, and into the woods. While I was running, I swear I could hear the same deep, distorted voice laughing loudly in the distance. I'm not sure how long I ran, but eventually I made it back into the small town where I went looking for the police. The local sheriff was parked next to a diner in his patrol vehicle. I guess he could tell I was a bit shaken, so he brought me into the diner, sat me down in a booth, and bought me a meal. Once I had finished my meal and had calmed my nerves, I told the sheriff what had happened. He laughed, looked out the window, and took a sip of coffee and spoke. The old gas station, huh? Yeah, that place is not abandoned at all. Urbex, or urban exploration, originated in the 1970s when daring, curious individuals driven to uncover secrets and untold stories began exploring abandoned buildings and forgotten spaces. They explored decrepit structures, rooftops, and underground tunnels, documenting their experiences through photography. Over time, the unique subculture grew in popularity, attracting a diversity of community of enthusiasts who share a passion for unveiling the hidden treasures of urban landscapes. Today, urbex urbex has developed into a worldwide phenomenon, with urban explorers continuously seeking new locations and pushing the boundaries of exploring. Wow. Well, first off, I don't know what I think about that. Can you imagine being like on the road right out of high school, just going from town to town, just being a drifter, always sleeping outside? That in itself makes for a pretty hard life. But then when it rained, you had nothing else to do, so you had to run in that old abandoned building. Welcome in, James. It's so good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. And then when you're falling asleep, all of a sudden you hear some kind of beast clawing at the shop door trying to get in, and you just run for your life. And there's no telling what it could have been. It could have been a cryptid of some kind, or it could have been something worse, some kind of evil spirit that lurked the woods. Who knows? A lot of strange things happen there in the woods of Utah and Colorado and Appalachia and the Ozarks, everywhere. The deep, unvast, explored areas of wilderness. There's some things that hide there that I'm sure nobody wants to know what's actually there. So hopefully y'all enjoyed those two stories. Those two were very awesome. This little book I actually read those from. Pretty awesome. They got a whole lot more. But I got one more I think I'm going to read real quick, and then we'll end it. So this one is called The Kentucky Haunting, that took place in Bellevue, Kentucky in Campbell County. This person says, I live in Bellevue, Kentucky. I belong to the Bellevue Fire Department. Approximately 10 years ago, Pat, fire chief, passed away in an upstairs bar room. The chair he died in is still there. I think everyone is a little worried about getting rid of the old chair due to strange things that happen there. Ironically enough, only one incident happened outside of the chair area. The ghost only seems to be active in that upstairs area. When watching TV, you will hear someone walking towards the back of the room from the bar area and then just stop. The sounds are distinct footsteps. Light and air conditioners routinely turn themselves on and off for no apparent reason. The only upstairs incident was in the engine room. Our pumpers have federal sirens. They sound like air raid sirens and have a constant wail. In order to activate them, you have to turn the batteries on and push a pedal on the floorboard. The longer the pedal is pushed, the louder and the longer the siren will wail. One night at 3 a.m. in the morning, one of the federal sirens began wailing as loud as it could go, and it wasn't winding down. Obviously, the shift on duty flew out of bed and down to the engine room. The firefighter said, "Let's walk on each side of the truck and catch whoever is doing this." As they approached the door and jerked them open at the same time, they found no one in the truck. Also, simultaneously as the doors were open, the siren began to wind down. The firefighter on the driver's side noticed the batteries on the truck were still in the off position. To this day, the incident is unexplained, as no one pushed the pedal in, and there was obviously no way for the siren to work without the batteries. It's just a strange, unexplained event. Welcome in, Tarsha. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Appreciate you coming in. So, wow, what a story. Can you imagine being asleep on duty as a firefighter and then all of a sudden that siren starts going crazy, and then when you go to check, there's nothing there? Man, that's probably one of the creepiest things I ever heard of. Imagine that. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate y'all coming out tonight, listening to the creepy stories that we found. And like I said, I really appreciate y'all coming out and joining in and listening to the stories and having a good old family time. And like I said, when I get a update on the P.O. Box thing, I'll let y'all know. Karen was the gracious person that reached out and said she'd like to donate it. So when we can get that going, we will have that going, and I will leave it down here at the bottom where y'all know where it's at, so you can send stories or cards or whatever you like, Really enjoyed these stories and really enjoyed this book that we found. Just found this today, and it's just full of encounters, and I figured I would love hearing them. Some of them's cryptid, some of them's not. Some of them, like the gas station story. What was that? It leaves you scratching your head trying to figure out just what it was. So really, like I said, I appreciate y'all coming out tonight. And like I said, let me pull these up and I'll update you guys once again on the videos. Saturday, you guys will get to see the family cemetery that I found my great grandmother. You'll get to go visit that with me and my dad. See it sort of cleaned up some, and then the next Saturday is going to be a story of a restaurant, and the restaurant itself is only built in 93, but it's the history inside of it that dates back to 1844. So that's going to be awesome. And then you guys will get to, there's a little video that I did out in the valley, out in the middle of some cornfields. You can see the fields of corn and the mountains all around. It's just beautiful. Y'all will love that. And that'll be coming up the second week of October. So got all that to look forward to. And next week, we'll dive into some more stories or whatever we can do. I need to carry y'all over there to Dad's and just kind of give y'all an update, which the garden's pretty much gone. Everything's winding down for the fall. A lot of it's overgrown. I got to get it bush hogged down and get it all retilled. The okra's finally turning to seed for next year. The cucumbers are died off, and we already picked the corn, and we already picked the watermelons and cantaloupes. So got a whole lot to clean up. And then last week, while I was off, Dad, that big old mess of scrap iron he had, he hauled a bunch of that off. We were over there trying to clean up some of that. So I have to do an update over there at some point. We'll figure out when to do that. So anyway, guys, like I said, I appreciate y'all coming out. Appreciate you guys giving us a thumbs up, sharing us out, and telling your friends about us, and leaving the comments and just having good old time in the chat. Appreciate all that. And as of right now, we're at 1,933 subscribers. Can't hardly believe it. We got that far already, but appreciate y'all. And I guess until next week when we have another story time and family time together, I'll see y'all later. So bye, guys. We'll see you later.